In the beginning, there was Steve. Alone, he mined, crafted, and survived against all odds. But on one of Steve's adventures, he came to a realization. He was bored. Sure, there's the nether and end dimensions to explore, but Steve has already exhausted the contents of them. There was nothing new to offer, nothing new for him to find. This is something that you, the viewer, have in one way or another experienced as your own Minecraft playthrough dulls out, and eventually, you click off. This was the same case for Steve until he stumbled upon. As the first high-quality mod that adds an entire new dimension to the game, Steve and many others like him were hooked. Whether it being the 8 unique boss fights, the beauty of 19 new biomes, or simply the excitement of finding something new, hidden behind a canopy of leaves. This mod reshaped the boundaries of what Minecraft can be, and even 11 years later, still immerses millions into its mystical environment. Today, I will attempt to recreate the Twilight Forest in Minecraft survival mode. Alright, that is the last block. I think we're completely done with the paths now. As you guys can see, I went in and added a little bit of details, dripstone to kind of look like just like a rough in the path, and then I added leaves, dry grass, a bunch of different flowers, just to make it a bit more detailed. I think it looks nice. Coming back over here just to address the elephant in the room, I did a little bit of off-camera mining. Just kidding, guys. I just made those TNT dupers over there. When it comes to why we made such a big hole, that is going to be a surprise for later this episode. There is something big coming, so I want to keep it to the very end to show you guys. I also put a little bit of a stone formation here, kind of lead into like a cave or something. I don't know, maybe I can put like a farm in there. But we'll see. I just wanted to add a little bit of variation to the terrain because a lot of this is just flat. I did go in and smoothed all this terrain out. It was actually a forest to begin with. That forest over there, it was all the way through here, and I cut it all down up to there. So yeah, I guess I did a little bit of off-camera mining. I also made this little pathway, which eventually we're going to make into a river. And then the actual path here, we're going to make a bridge going across, and it's going to look very cool, like a little diagonal bridge. I'm realizing I'm yapping too much, so let's just start building the trees. All right. Hello everybody, we are here in the strip mine, and I thought of a cool way to get a lot of deep slate really fast. So here we got a little strip mine, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a quick wither. You know, just a casual wither. And then we're going to like hit him, and he's going to blow up this tunnel as I'm hitting him, and we go all the way back to the back of the strip mine, and we just keep hitting him. And I think it'll work because he'll blow up all the blocks, and we'll just pick him up after. So let's see. Let's do it. I haven't fought like a wither in a long time. All right. Oh, it's. Oh shit. This is quite probable. Right? Do not.
Oh my days.
Oh, I almost died again. I was like, my heart dropped and I just immediately pearled again. Yo, bro, I'm gonna die before we find an end city.
Who would have thought you're dying before P?
I'm not good at Minecraft anymore. I'm just good at building.
Ah.
I'm just staring at chorus fruit. That's all I see right now. Oh my god! It's not on Logan.
Oh my god.
It's not over yet. We need to survive.
Wait, don't go up here. Don't go up here. Don't go up here.
You're good, you're good, you're good. Just land in the water. This is like Stranger Things. You know what I'm talking about? When they float up and do like the bone cracking? Oh my god, that is the worst.
No, you have to run at me.
I have to run at you? Oh, like that. Oh, okay. I have never used a spear before. This is actually kind of sick.
Yeah, they kind of suck. Yeah, because you can't do anything.
I'm gonna use it to fight
the wither?
These guys. Not the wither. I think I'm gonna take a break from the wither, actually. Oh, copper horse armor. That's exactly what I came for. I have never used a spear before. This is actually kind of sick. Oh my god! Pearl. What's your... Oh my god, that's my bad. I didn't realize I was charging at you.
I clutched that, bro. Oh
How
my
did you do
god.
that? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Did you
I water bucket. No, I water
bucketed.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You know, fishing in Minecraft is usually a pretty boring task, but in my opinion, if you're surrounded by the right environment and the right sight lines, then it can become a little more interesting as you're looking at all the different things around you as you're fishing. With that said, I was thinking what better place to possibly fish than this pond here in our brand new fantasy forest inspired by the Twilight Forest mod. Sorry if my voice sounds a little different. As you can see, a bit of time has passed since the last time I was recording, and now I'm a little sick. But yeah, what you're seeing here is all my hard work poured out into this one build that I've been doing basically since the start of June, and now it's July. As you can see here, like I added a bunch of different foliage. I tried sprinkling in a little bit of detail with flowers here and saplings, and I put string on them so they don't grow up tall. There's mushrooms with like shroom lights, I think they're called. Yeah, I wanted to add a little bit of light source because as I was building this place, I was getting bombarded by zombies. Anyway, as you can see, there's variation of tree height, and the blocks that I use for the bark is actually something I really love. So I wanted it to be not only a bright and beautiful forest, but also gloomy in some areas. So I think the contrast between the dark trees and the bright leaves and everything else just perfectly illuminates this environment. It makes it look a bit more realistic. As you guys can probably see, I did use a lot of glazed terracotta in these builds. I love my glazed terracotta personally, and I think that it just adds so much more detail and depth to what you're looking at. Like if we look over here, it's so moving further into this forest. We have this right here. This is the graveyard over here, and the dragon, or should I say the Hydra? Anyway, going into here, I wanted to kind of, let's go back here for a second. I wanted to kind of make this forest have like something to look at from every perspective. So walking in here, the first thing you look at, the focal point really, is this entrance to the graveyard here. And I was inspired to do this from a video game called Elden Ring. And in Elden Ring, they use this technique a lot to make different things far away look a lot more interesting and kind of guide the player to visit these certain places just by the way it looks in the background. For the walls here, I did use more glazed terracotta along with a couple vines, and I want these candles to kind of look like, I don't know, berries or just something growing on these vines. I think it kind of accomplished that. The big thing about me in Minecraft is I always try to make different blocks look like something else. And I think that context is a very powerful tool to make your Minecraft builds look better. Walking in here, welcome guys to the graveyard. We have a bunch of tombstones, and of course you gotta use what's it called? Soul sand. I knew it was called soul sand, but I contradicted myself. So you guys might be wondering what the statue is for. So the statue is actually of the Lich, which is a boss from the Twilight Forest. Hidden high within a towering castle, this undead king relies on powerful magic instead of brute strength. He surrounds himself with illusions, hurls explosive spells, and summons undead minions, turning the battle into a deadly game of deception before you can finally break through his defenses. And as you can see here in the statue, I added firstly, their staff, and then like a little like amethyst cluster bulb right there to maybe like look like he's casting a magic spell. And then of course on his left hand here, there's just another spell. I just want it to look very magical, and I think I accomplished that with this statue. Over here, I wanted to make it a bit more barren and make it look like this is a bit of like an abandoned graveyard. So I added a little portion here where the wall has eroded or deteriorated, and what's now left is just a little fragment of what used to be there. Now that we're exiting the graveyard, I can explain why I chose blue terracotta and yellow terracotta. That's because the Lich, if we look back at it, he actually has a theme between yellow and blue with his attire and such. So I thought it would be appropriate. To add those colors into a build that involves his legacy. And before we take to the skies and check out the giant Hydra in the sky, I want to show you the rest of this build from the ground perspective. Over here, you guys might be able to tell, but it's a giant tree. If you walk through here, you can see that there's a breakage. I added walls and slabs to make it look a bit more random in the way that it's separated. But walking through here, you can see that the ground is disturbed. There's roots in the ground. And right here is the impact hole in which it fell over. And here on the side, there's roots and everything. Before I placed this in here, I realized that the forest was very bland and didn't have any like immersive factors. So I thought that adding a fallen tree would not only, add a bit of history to the forest, but also make it seem like it's been here for longer than you have. That's something I love to do with builds, is make it look like there's a history behind it before the players even got involved. Additionally, it also serves for a perfect breakage of a sight line, because I wanted to make this area around here kind of seem a bit more condensed and enclosed. And I think that putting the fallen tree here, blocking the path, kind of helps, captivate the player into looking this way and this way. And furthermore, just having this tree here makes the player want to see what's over there. It builds curiosity. Now, walking through the tree, I can finally show you guys the stable. So this stable was actually something I'm very proud of designing and building, because I had never used so much texturing in a build before. You see, I put quartz blocks here, terracotta, signs, shelves, there's a lot going on. And I just think it fits this environment so very well. Over here, I used some live details, kind of fit into the foliage to make it look like it's kind of been here for a while. I wanted it to look like a version of this like trolley thing, but like dismantled, of course. You can see these two are the wheels, the handles, scaffolding, because scaffolding is used in every context in this game. Yeah, but it's just like, you know, a classic little carry thing. Walking into the stable, you can see that it's very gloomy and dark, and for some reason there's always a zombie that spawns in here. Anyway, yeah, I added cobwebs just to make it look a bit abandoned. This new creeping vine is very nice. I think that's what it's called. It's from the new forest they added, the pale forest. I forget what it's called now. Anyway, yeah, it's from there. If you look overhead, I added like a little bit of what's supposed to look like a piping system of some kind. I used hoppers and deep slate walls to make it kind of look like it's a pipeline. And it's kind of consistent throughout this whole build that the pipeline goes across the ceiling. Looking over here, there's like a little bit of a walkway up there. I wanted there to be something to look at up here because originally the wall was very bland. So I thought, why not add like a minecart or like some kind of functioning up there? And I think it turned out really well because you kind of look at that one minecart going through, and then these campfires on the walls kind of condense your view to that one spot. It kind of focuses you on that spot. Anyway, meet Gwyn. This is my horse from probably day one in the server. I think I got him on the first real life day, probably not the first Minecraft day, but yeah, the first day playing on this server, I got my boy Gwyn, and I thought that he needed a place to stay. He needed a home. So we gave him one. And I think it's perfect now. He's a little slow. He's not the fastest horse. But anyway, yeah, this is the stable. I hope you guys liked it. Now, let's move on. Coming over here, I also wanted to point out that, you can see it over there too, I added like a little bit of like a well kind of thing. You can see these in some forests or like villages. I thought it's just like a nice little detail to kind of, you know, add a bit more variety because there's a lot of nature going on. I wanted a bit more man-made stuff, which is why I also put this bridge here. Welcome to the river. I don't have a name for the river. On the ground of the river, I used mud and blackstone because I wanted it to look a bit deeper than it actually is. So I thought using darker blocks, darker shades would kind of make it look like it's a bit deeper. And I think that was successful. I also used a bunch of gravel and a bunch of different things. I wanted to start using suspicious gravel, but you would have to dupe it and do all this stuff. So I never really got around to farming enough to use it in this build. But in the future, I would love to start using suspicious sand and suspicious gravel in my builds because I think they just add a little bit more detail and variety that kind of brings everything else together. Let's look at this big tooth in the ground. It's a snake tooth. Well, it's supposed to look like a snake tooth. This is the first time I've ever tried making one in Minecraft. So I hope it turned out well. I think it kind of looks good. I don't know. Maybe I should add more block variety. Something to note is that this forest isn't complete. It's by no means complete. I will come back here and I'll change things and edit and reconfigure until it is in the best shape possible. Anyway, this tooth is in the context of something that'll be explained later. For now, guys, just know that this is a snake tooth. Oh, yeah, here is a lamp. I kind of added this lamp as an experimental thing. Let me know if you guys like this design, because I think it doesn't fit the forest very well. But I wanted to add a bit more, brightness so I don't get bombarded by mobs at night. But I don't know if this lamp fits very well. I think it belongs more so in a city, maybe. All right, moving on. Just admire the flowers as we're walking by. I haven't talked about these boulders yet. These boulders are, they're straightforward, but I think I liked the gradient that I used. Going from dark to light. And I think that using these new pale oak wood types and the acacia types are really good for kind of making a transition between different stone blocks, because it kind of fits in that context. Because I'm sure you guys have seen many other creators use this gradient with different types of stones, whether it be mountains or boulders like I'm using here. But yeah, I think it looks very good. The amethyst used to add a bit more of the fantasy vibe to the boulders. You can see I really went crazy with the amethyst. You can see it's literally everywhere. Also, guys, I forgot to mention that this lamppost is powered, and the light is conducted by this daylight sensor on top of it, so it turns off during the day and turns on at night. And I think that's very interesting, but still, I don't know if that fits in this environment. Anyway, moving on to the giant sword. This giant sword is inspired by the giant boss. Far above the clouds, towering over the landscape, lives the giant. Unlike the mythical giants of old who shaped mountains and challenged the gods, the Twilight Forest giant is a mysterious, oversized version of the player. Its strange familiarity and immense scale make it one of the mod's most unusual encounters, raising more questions than answers. I didn't actually add them. I added evidence that they'd been here through a sword in the ground, and a giant sword at that. Because I thought that adding a giant right here would kind of take you out of the vibe. I don't know. I think a sword was definitely the play, and I love how it turned out. There's a little handle there, and I forget what that part's called, but a lot of swords and axes and different combat weapons have that little string attached to the end, and I still don't know what it actually does. If you guys know, please tell me in the comments. Anyway, moving up close, you can see I added the same impact to the ground as I did for the fallen tree over there. I think it just makes it look like the ground has been, disrupted. But yeah, guys, this is the sword. There's not much to it, but I think it looks really good and just fills in the sight line over here very well. I love using the word sight line right now, but it perfectly encapsulates what I was trying to aim for when building this entire forest. I wanted to build sight lines, and this is why I made this sight line too. Okay, let's move over here. This is our sniffer sanctuary. As we walk up, it looks like a dilapidated castle, kind of. That's what I was going for. And in here, we have our boy, the sniffer. I actually got two of them, but one of them disappeared. I think they died. I think they suffocated over here. Maybe he walked up here and just grew too big and then just suffocated. And that sucks because those eggs are not easy to find. Guys, as you can probably hear, there's a minecart below me. This is how the collection system works. It gets collected into this minecart all across the floor here. And if we go over here and flick this lever, you can see we have a couple things over here. I haven't started planting these flowers yet, but I want to start using them for future builds. So I thought, why not add a sniffer into this forest, or a sniffer sanctuary at that? Over here, we have another tooth, and the ground is impacted. We have a little river over here, and this is yet another snake tooth for this snake shrine. So I wanted this build to kind of serve as the final resting place for Naga. The Naga is an enormous serpent that patrols the overgrown courtyards of an ancient ruin. Fast, aggressive, and relentless, it crashes through walls as it hunts you down. As the fight goes on, pieces of its body are destroyed,
making it smaller and smaller, but even more unpredictable. Usually Nagas are peaceful, so I wanted to give it sort of like a beautiful place to live. Or I guess rest, because it's not alive anymore. And now, you understand why there's a tooth over there. Anyways, guys, going back to the big dragon in the sky, this is called a Hydra. And as you can probably guess, it is also a boss from the Twilight Forest mod. But in order to get a closer look, we need to toss on our elytra and armor. Welcome everybody to our Hydra. Something I've been wanting for a long time in this world is something to look at that's in the sky. And sure, you could say that my hot air balloon is a good example of doing that, but I wanted something a bit more flashy. And I thought that, adding the Hydra from the Twilight Forest mod would be a perfect addition to just add yet another sightline to this build. Over here, you can see that I added kind of like armor, or I don't even know what to call it. I would guess like just scales, but solidified into like this thing that wraps around all the way to the bottom. And I think that it turned out very, very, very beautiful. I love this dragon very much. It took me a long time to design because usually I am not a very big organic person. I rarely make organics in Minecraft. So this time, I really had to just sit down and thug it out and just learn how to make one of these things because, in all honesty, it is hard, but with the right motivation and with a good reference photo, you can make a pretty good looking animal. Obviously, it's not the best looking, but for my first attempt at something organic, I really like how it turned out. I really did. Beautiful. Diving a bit more into the little details of this, you can see that there's teeth right here, the mouth obviously opening up, but I also added slabs here to make the eyes a little more slanted and straight off. So when you're looking at it from afar, it kind of looks like it's squinting at you. Like it's angry or something. And I really love how it so subtly does that. It's a little unsettling. Something you guys may have also noticed is that I used a lot of diamond blocks in this build. And trust me, it took me a while and I am currently dirt poor. But yeah, I absolutely love the way this dragon turned out. Deep within a blazing fire swamp waits the Hydra. A colossal beast with multiple heads and an endless appetite for destruction. It spits fire, bites from every direction, and when one head falls, another can take its place. Every moment of the fight feels like battling a living natural disaster. In my opinion, adding the other two heads was probably the hardest part for me because it was so hard to kind of fit it in the body of a single-headed dragon. So I don't know. I think it looks fine. Maybe a little clanky. In retrospect, maybe they should be looking the other way so it doesn't look like they're having a three-way kiss. But I still think this dragon looks good. What I didn't add was all the glass because I wanted to look like the wings have seen a lot, I want it to look like this dragon has kind of been in a couple skirmishes, a couple fights, so it's a little bit beat up. It's not perfect. And I think that little chunk of realism just brings so much to it. I just love it so much. I hope you guys loved this video. I had so much fun making this forest, and I hope you guys love the level of detail and effort that I put into it. And hopefully you can shoot me a sub and a like or something like that if you want to. Early in the video, I did mention that I would put something here, and I would also put something here. Now it's just like a really ugly hole, but in all honesty, I kind of lost a little bit of motivation. I wanted to get this video out, and this took a lot longer than I thought, so I think we'll leave the rest of this for another day because I still need to make a couple other farms, like a guardian farm and a froglight farm. And I think that completing this part of the build without those blocks would just, I don't know, it would be kind of a waste. So I think just putting this off for a while will make the end result look even better, and hopefully you guys are excited to see what that looks like later on. Again, thanks everybody for getting this far in the video. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you guys have amazing days. Goodbye.